During the pandemic, we saw scenes like this play out pretty much everywhere. But this one was caught on camera. We're about to break down a really tense, real-world encounter where public health rules and individual rights just smashed right into each other.
So what does happen? Well, that exact question got put to the test in Kyiv, Ukraine, during the crazy, strict lockdown of 2020. We're going to dive into a video that captured this whole confrontation so we can see what happens when the law of the land meets the law of the lockdown. All right, so let's set the scene. We're in Hydropark, this big recreational area in Kyiv. The whole city is under a government quarantine. The streets are quiet, these new rules are fresh, and you can just feel the tension in the air. A guy's just riding his bicycle, and he's about to be stopped by police. And believe me, this stop is going to be anything but routine. Okay, so on the face of it, the reason for the stop seems pretty simple. The cyclist isn't wearing a protective mask, and according to the police, this park is a public place where a brand new decree said you had to wear one. But here's the thing. What should have been a simple warning, hey, put on a mask, just snowballs. It turns into this full-blown legal debate right there on the path. You've got both the cyclist and the police armed with their own interpretations of the law, and neither side is about to give an inch. And this is where it gets really fascinating. Because what you have here are two people standing in the same spot, but basically living in two totally different legal realities. Let's break down what each side was arguing. So check this out. On one hand, you've got the cyclist. He's leaning on the big stuff, right? The Constitution of Ukraine, his fundamental right to just move around freely. But then you have the police. They're not looking at the Constitution. They're looking at a brand new emergency order, Resolution 211, that says wear a mask in public. Two completely different rule books. The cyclist's point is, well, it's pretty powerful. He's basically saying, hey, I was just riding my bike peacefully. The Constitution says I can do that. He truly believes that this core right can't just be switched off by some temporary government rule. But the cops, they're coming from a totally different place. They've got a direct order, a specific legal tool made just for this emergency. So for them, it's not some big philosophical debate about the Constitution. It's simple. We're here to enforce this rule, this resolution, to keep people safe. So you've got this legal tug-of-war happening. But how does that turn what should have been a 2-minute conversation into a full hour-long detention? Let's walk through the timeline. This is pretty smart. The cyclist basically starts narrating the whole thing. He keeps calling out the time. It's been 30 minutes. Now it's 40. We're at a full hour. He's building his case right there on camera that this has gone way beyond a simple stop. He's framing it as an unjustified detention. And that's his whole point, really. He's saying, look, you're not arresting me. You're not even writing me a ticket yet. So why can't I just go? He argues that by just standing there blocking his way for an entire hour, they're illegally taking away his fundamental right to move freely. Okay, so after a full hour of this back and forth, something's got to give. This brings us to the end of the roadside confrontation. The police decide to make things official by filing what's known as an administrative protocol. So what exactly is an administrative protocol? Well, it's important to know it's not really a ticket. He's not getting fined right there on the spot. Think of it more like the police filing an official report. They're saying, we believe an offense happened here. But, and this is key, they're not the ones who decide guilt. They're basically kicking the whole problem up the chain to a judge. And that's where it lands. The whole argument, the whole hour-long standoff, is now officially moving from this park path into a courtroom. It's going to be up to the Dniprovsky District Court to figure out who was actually in the right here, the citizen or the police. Okay, so let's step back for a second, because what we just watched, this one incident, it is a perfect snapshot of a huge tension that was felt all over the world during the pandemic. Think about all the pieces here. You've got a regular person appealing to these huge fundamental constitutional rights. Then you have the government using emergency powers for what it sees as public health. You've got the police, who are stuck right in the middle, trying to enforce these new, sometimes confusing rules. And at the end of the day, it's the legal system, the courts, that have to be the final referee. So this whole thing, this hour-long confrontation in a park, it doesn't just end with a future court date. It leaves us all with this massive, lingering question, one that communities everywhere were wrestling with. In a crisis, where do you draw the line between keeping everyone safe and protecting individual liberty? There's no easy answer, and this raw, real-world encounter shows you exactly what that struggle looks like.